Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Karen Ceballos.
My name is Karol Tapia, and together we welcome you to our presentation about middle school number 37, Ingeniero Juan de Dios Bojorquez.
We are so happy to share our experience with you. We hope you enjoy it and find it useful.
Middle school number 37 is in Colonia Nuevo Hermosillo. It's in the south of Hermosillo. The school is located on Peña Colorada Street, among houses with a kindergarten and an elementary school nearby. Some teachers told us in interviews and conversations that the place where the students live is not always good for them. There are problems such as violence, drugs, or bullying in the neighborhood, and sometimes students bring these problems to school or create them within the school. This can cause conflicts between the students.
Bromfren Werner 1979 states that social development is influenced by different systems, such as family, community, and society. These systems affect children's behavior. Because of this, when there are problems in the neighborhood, it can hurt students' emotional and social development, which can then affect their behavior in and off school. In the surveys we did with parents, the only problem they mentioned was fights between students. We observed Teacher Omar and Teacher Tania's classes during both weeks. Both teachers graduated from the Escuela Normal Superior Hermosillo and were classmates, but now they teach in different ways. The way a teacher teaches can change depending on their personality, what they believe about teaching, and the situation. Lee 2024 says that English teachers can be facilitators, managers, controllers, or evaluators. These different roles can change how the students learn and how the class works.
On one hand, Teacher Omar's students looked a bit more free in the classroom. They played, made jokes, and sometimes the teacher joined in. There was a balance between fun and school activities. Most of the time, the class followed the same routine. The teacher wrote the activities on the board, then he said to copy and do them. Sometimes he gave a short explanation of the activities. When the most students finished, the teacher told some students to go to the front and do the activity for participation points. Students were always very active. Even when they didn't go to the front, some students shouted out the answers. At the end of some cases, the teachers gave a dictation with topics from the same lesson. With Teacher Omar, we saw that he often gave feedback and helped students pronounce words. For example, when he said the word oil, he also wrote oil to help with pronunciation. Another example was with the word thought, which he explained is said like thought.
On the other hand, most classes with Teacher Tania were about projects, exams, and something she called Reading Thursdays, a special activity with her groups. Her students were very calm, usually quiet, and doing what she asked. Later, we learned from Teacher Omar that her students behaved that way because she was strict and wanted them to always be calm. One interesting thing we saw in her class was she used topics that the students like famous people. She was also working on projects where students made role plays in English. They create their own scripts, settings, and dialogues. Some examples were a bus, Cinepolis, an airport, and a bakery. When we look more closely at the role plays, we saw that they have a community focus, similar to the ideas of Nueva Escuela Mexicana. According to Hermosa 2021, dramatization is a teaching tool that helps students use the language in real situations. It also makes learning more complete because students create their plays themselves. The communication between teacher and students was mostly for asking and answering school questions.
Both teachers told us they always try to include English-speaking culture in celebrations, like Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, and July 4th. In one event, we saw stands from different countries. At one of the stands, Students were speaking English and they had posters and brochures in English made by teacher Tanya's students.
We saw that teacher Tanya gave a test to two students. It had a listening part. She spoke and the students wrote. This is a summary assessment because it happens at the end and gives a grade.
We also saw formative assessment with role plays. During our 2 weeks visit to the middle school, we saw two important events. The first was International Women's Day, where students wore purple shirts and danced in the schoolyard with music. In the second week, we saw murals for Teachers' Day and an intercultural event.
In 2 weeks, we saw that school is complex. Teaching is hard but special. That's it for us. We hope you liked learning about the school and found it useful. Bye and see you soon!